Are you living in the US and thinking about buying Korean skincare, but maybe you're a little bit overwhelmed about where to start? If we haven't met, I'm Dr. Sarah Shu, a board certified dermatologist practicing in the Seattle area. My patients ask me about the products I use, and what I struggle with is that a lot of the products that I use are from Korea. Thanks to the internet, it is easier than ever to buy Korean skincare products, but there are a lot of pitfalls that I worry that my patients are going to run into. The biggest issue that I see when my patients go down this rabbit hole is fake or counterfeit products. One of my patients recently told me that she was using a Korean sunscreen that's popular on social media, the Beauty of Joseon Original Relief Sun Sunscreen. But when she showed me the product on an Amazon confirmation email on her phone, that was a huge red flag because the brand doesn't sell this particular sunscreen on Amazon. The last time I checked, every listing I saw on Amazon for this product was a lookalike, essentially a product that was made to look like the real thing, but was definitely not the real thing. She tried to go back to the product listing page, but by the time she was showing it to me, the page was already taken down because it was a scam. So today, I'm sharing a beginner's guide for US shoppers like my patients who are thinking about getting a Korean beauty product or skincare product and they don't know where to start. FYI, for my patients, I can always find plenty of US market recommendations. So even if it's not exactly what I use, don't feel like you have to buy any overseas products. So, why do I even go through the trouble of buying Asian skincare products? The primary benefit for me of using Korean or Japanese skincare products, including sunscreens, is that I can find really nice Korean and Japanese skincare online, including sunscreens and moisturizers for a lot less money than I would be spending on US market products. Skincare in the US is still a relatively young market compared to Asia and Europe, where it's been emphasized for decades. In the US, I feel like the focus until recently has been more on makeup rather than skincare, so it's kind of a new industry. The other aspect of this is that sunscreens that are sold in Asia and Europe, they provide superior UV radiation protection because they offer newer and more comprehensive chemical UV filtering ingredients compared to those that are sold in the US. The last time a new chemical UV filtering ingredient was approved in the US was 1999, and it's been crickets since then. So let's get into the different options. First, I'm going to start with Stylevana. This is an option for people who like deals and they're willing to wait. This is the site that I personally use the most because, above all else, I like a good deal. For example, a moisturizer that I use frequently is this one, the Estura Cream Mist. It's the full retail price of $21 on Sephora, and on the same day when I checked prices in May 2025, it was $16 on Stylevana. On other Korean retailers, I found the same product for $21.60 on Olive Young and $22.70 on YesStyle. Stylevana, I found, is not always the cheapest, but it usually is when I look. Another example is this sunscreen, which is a European line La Roche-Posay sunscreen that's not sold by US retailers. It's the UV Mune 400 Invisible Fluid. One of the most popular retailers to purchase European sunscreens from in the US is Kbeauty. I found it for just under $19 on Stylevana, and when I checked on the same day on Kbeauty, it was almost $45. In addition to finding good deals, they have a pretty good product selection. It should have everything a beginner needs, including all the Korean skincare products that are popular on social media, including the Beauty of Joseon sunscreen that I mentioned, the Anua products, Round Lab, Medicube, etc. The downside to having a bigger selection, though, is for a newbie, it can be kind of overwhelming. They also have a nice selection of Japanese skincare products too, including Biore's Watery Essence Sunscreen, which is one of my favorite body sunscreens. Mostly, though, they carry Korean and Japanese products that are popular to people in the US. They also have a membership tier system. You usually will get a small sample packet or two with your orders, but at higher membership tiers, I've gotten full-size items with my orders, including a full-size Beauty of Joseon Rice Toner and a full-size Mixun Galactomyces Essence. Sometimes the full-size product is crummy though, like a 50-cent sheet mask, so your mileage is going to vary from package to package. Like many other sites that specialize in importing Korean beauty products, the site does have a free shipping minimum. For Stylevana, it's a $48 order minimum for free shipping to the US, which is one of the lowest minimums. I've said a lot of positive things about Stylevana, but it is not all positive. The biggest drawback is that it is slow. I want to emphasize that. Slow. The average time for me between placing an order and actually getting it has been about 6 weeks, and sometimes it's even closer to 8 weeks. It even takes a week or two sometimes after placing my order to even receive an email notifying me that my package has been packed. If you get anxiety about not receiving packages in a timely manner, this is not for you. This is not an Amazon Prime experience. Other important points to note is that when you check out, you can add insurance for a couple of bucks. I haven't done this since I read that customer service, even if you opt into this paid service, isn't that great. If a package gets lost, knock on wood, this hasn't happened for me yet, and I've placed more than 10 orders. I plan on doing a credit card chargeback, but I hope I don't have to. Another big negative for me is that if something goes wrong, like if you don't receive your package is missing an item, again, not something that's happened to me yet, don't expect an excellent customer service experience. Or if a product doesn't work out, you can't just easily return the item like you would with a Sephora or Costco purchase. So, this is a good option for people who've tried a product already and they want to stock up on it at a good price, or people who are comfortable with kissing a few frogs and ending up with some products that don't work out for your skin. A couple of little tips on shopping at Stylevana. I always check out the recommended deals on the checkout page. I found some great deals here. One of my favorite sunscreens, the Abib Heartleaf Calming Drop, is usually closer to $20, but it's frequently on the recommended deals section for $8. I also like the TM pimple patches that are frequently on the recommended deals page too. 18 of them for 99 cents, which I think is a pretty great deal. Next, let's talk about YesStyle. This is another popular website for Korean beauty, including skincare. Positives include that it has a more comprehensive selection than Stylevana. Stylevana has Korean and Japanese products specifically that are popular with US consumers, but some brands that are well known in Korea won't be on Stylevana unless they're also well known in the United States. Examples of this would be brands like Iope, The History of Who. You're going to find a better selection of these products on YesStyle. If for whatever reason you hear about a product that's not available on Stylevana, or the rare instance when a product is cheaper on YesStyle, then YesStyle is a good option too. The shipping minimum is higher than Stylevana, $79 compared to 48. Shipping is also slow to the United States, similar to Stylevana, and I would expect shipping to take weeks to months. Option number three is Olive Young. This company doesn't have a lot of name recognition in the United States, but it's like the Sephora of Korea. If you ever visit Korea in person, it is a fun place to check out. The Olive Young US website has a reasonable selection, but it's not as comprehensive as Stylevana or YesStyle. I found that the prices are usually a little bit higher there as well. This is a good beginner option though, because the selection isn't overwhelming. They have more reliable customer service and more reasonable shipping times of about 1 to 2 weeks, rather than the many weeks that you're going to wait for your Stylevana or YesStyle order. They do have regular sales, but they don't necessarily have the lowest prices even with these sales, and their shipping minimum is between Stylevana's and YesStyle's at $60. The next option is Soko Glam. I think that this is the best option for K-beauty beginners in the US. They have a curated selection, a well-organized website. They offer more hand-holding and a friendly customer service team that's going to offer input on what products might be best for your skin type. Their prices aren't always the cheapest, but they do regularly have sales for 20% off. This is a US-based company that ships from within the US, so you're going to see 1 to 2 week shipping times. And if something doesn't work out for your skin, you can return it pretty easily. This is especially good for people who are new to this space and they don't have any idea where to start. Before I can get into the worst option for beginners, I'd appreciate if you can like this video or subscribe to my channel. It helps small channels like mine a lot. Option number 5 is the most controversial one. It's Amazon. My best advice about shopping for Korean skincare on Amazon is buyer beware. You will find lookalikes and fakes, just like the patient I mentioned at the beginning of this video. For example, the sunscreen that my patient was trying to buy, the Beauty of Joseon Relief Sun sunscreen, this is what shows up when you search for this product on Amazon. The first listing is the version that the company actually sells on Amazon. This is the product that's made for the US market. It's a sound-alike that has completely different UV filters than the original. This is a very different sunscreen than the one that went viral. Then the next four product listings are for products that were intentionally made by third parties to look like the Relief Sun sunscreen, but they are not the real thing. And if a company is dishonest enough to try to trick me into buying a product, I probably don't want to use their fake product on my body because I don't trust them. Shopping for skincare on Amazon has the usual benefits. You can return things pretty easily, you can get fast shipping if you have Prime, and sometimes the prices can be pretty good, especially around major sales. But I recommend this only for more advanced shoppers, people who know exactly what they're looking for. Ideally, you've used the product before and you know what it's supposed to look like. And I do not think that this is a good beginner option. The final options that I'm covering today, I'm going to lump together because the pros and cons are pretty similar. Sephora and Ulta. They have a very limited selection of Korean beauty and the prices are high compared to Stylevana. The benefits, though, of shopping at these retailers is that they're convenient, they're familiar, and you can return things that you don't want directly to the stores. Shipping times are also going to be on the faster end since they're being shipped from the US. There are a bunch of options that I didn't mention, like Amore Pacific Global Mall, Charse, Korea Depart, Costco Next, to name a few. But the options that I covered today should be more than enough for any beginner. I hope that this video was helpful to you, and if you have any tips to share, please share them below in the comments. I love when we can learn from each other.